You have Welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Steve Miera, the assistant head coach in New Mexico, northern New Mexico. And hey, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Appreciate you guys.
You have a great story. I mean, let's just go back. You got a blessed story. You got great mentors and great coaches that you've been around. And I was really caught off guard yesterday when I talked to you. That you started at Valley, and talk about that with Joe Coleman and Danny Brown.
Jolly Joe Coleman and Danny Brown. So Joe was the head coach there. Danny was the assistant while I was going to high school there. And I want to say maybe we were like 16, maybe going in our sophomore, junior year, and we didn't have a summer coach. And Joe Coleman let me coach our varsity team, which was actually my friends, you guys all my same age and all of that. And so Joe really got me that start of, getting the itch of being a coach and going through that process. And then, having him as a mentor is phenomenal, three-time state champion. And then at the same time, you have a very young Danny Brown, who was just getting started in his coaching career over at Valley. And I remember every day with Coach Brown, we would do weights, we would do ball handling. He'd stay after helping us out with individuals. And right when I graduated Valley, Danny got the head coaching job at Highland High School. And I followed Danny to Highland. And I spent 5 years working under Danny Brown, like I said. And the Brown family, it speaks for itself in terms of their coaching tree and their knowledge and what they do for the game of basketball here in New Mexico. So it was a treat very young to have those type of mentors, kind of give me the love for the game and understand the discipline that's needed to be a good coach. And really, being a good coach is being relatable to your players and parents and making sure you can build a good program. And everywhere that Danny's been, he's done a phenomenal job doing that. And again, Joe Coleman, his record speaks for itself, 20 some years at Valley. So, again, started off very young with really, really good mentors. And as I moved into college, I was blessed to be around some of the best coaches in New Mexico, from Joe Harge to Craig Snow to Paul Weir to working with Mike Dominguez now. It's you don't get not too many young coaches have that opportunity moving up the ladder to be mentored by that diverse of a coaching staff, but as well as a successful one. Because every single coach I've worked for has won at a very high level.
Were you there with Joe Harge when he had his successful year when he won? They won.
When they had the massive turnaround, I was not there for that. I think that was a year or two later, but we had some of the guys that were still on the team that were freshmen when I came on with that. One of his assistants at the time was Eric Strickland, if you remember him from the NBA, played for the Knicks. He was on staff with us that year that I was with Joe Harge. So again, you get a little bit of NBA experience from that standpoint as an assistant working alongside him. And my 1 year where I was with Northern, with the men's and the women's team, Tyler Terry from the Detroit Pistons was on our staff. So again, I got to work alongside another, 80s pro legend that, uh, just a great mentor, a great human being as well, Tyler Terry. So from just working alongside some of the assistants, like I said, the star power behind it was extremely helpful in balancing my understanding of a coach in basketball.
Well, this is your second stint with northern New Mexico, and there's a little bit of excitement right now. I mean, Mike and yourself, and you got some recruits in this week. They're all from New Mexico, and speak on what you're trying to get accomplished with Mike.
I think that's a great question, great thing to talk about there, Steve. I worked alongside Mike Dominguez. Me and him were both assistant coaches under Craig Snow at Highlands, where we won an RMAC championship, first time in school history that happened. And part of what made us successful over there was our ability to have quality New Mexico players. And so even after Craig Snow left and I went out to Bakersfield to coach, Mike did a phenomenal job at Highlands of recruiting New Mexico guys, kind of turning around the system, the story about New Mexico guys staying in state, no matter where it's at, but specifically Highlands. And now that we've made the adjustment in coaches over here at Northern, it's the same philosophy, which is we need to have the best New Mexico players on our team to be successful, and that means out recruiting Highlands and Eastern and Western, and that's part of the fun. As they're a little bit of bigger schools, they might have a little bit bigger budget, but what we're trying to do is make sure that these players that we're bringing in are getting playing time, are becoming part of the process. They have a vested interest in the school and the community that they're playing for. And I think New Mexico guys, we all have a little chip on our shoulder. And when we can take that out to California or Texas, Oklahoma, or wherever it may be, and kind of show, hey, New Mexico's got real deal hoopers. And I think sometimes we get overlooked just because of the size of the state or, whatever it may be. But what we're doing here at Northern is really having a focus on not just inner city kids either. If you were there yesterday, we had kids from Artesia, we had kids from Taos, different Albuquerque schools. So we're branching out as much as we possibly can. We're not staying just in 5A, big city. We're branching out, like I said, Artesia, Taos. I'm recruiting guys down in Portales. So it's fun to have that ability in New Mexico where you can really branch out and find a good group of guys. You just have to go look. I wouldn't even call them diamonds in the rough. They're just diamonds, and you just got to go look for them. And again, I think Mike Dominguez does a great job of emphasizing how important that is for our program moving forward. And then, like I said, if you want to talk about the excitement, 9 of our 10 guys are coming back. We were second in conference during the regular season, made it to the championship game in the conference tournament, lost by 4, and you're bringing 9 guys back. You can't get much more excited than that because you've got a really good foundation and base. And I think that group is going to help our freshman New Mexico guys that are coming in with expectations of what we want, how we want to play, and how we want to present ourselves in the CalPAC and across NAIA nationally.
Well, very impressive. Let's kind of go back a year ago. Late start. Kind of talk about how you and Mike got back together and how it all worked out, and talk about your situation there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a late start. Mike didn't get hired until July, and I probably didn't get pulled in until maybe a week before August. And one of the things that worked out great for us is over that course of the summer, we were able to get some dorms in at Northern. And that really expanded our ability to recruit, especially some of the New Mexico guys, and talk to the families about that process of having them a place to stay. But like I said, me and Mike worked together at Highlands, and we're very similar in our styles. Mike is very much letting guys make reads on their offense, trusting them from that process. I'm very much a trap and go guy. I'd say I'm even more than if anybody's watched Fort Lewis play or the old Highlands teams play, or if anybody's watching from back in the Hobbs days from the 90s and early 2000s. I like to press, like to switch. We like to blitz. We like to do all these little things that me and Mike both agree on. So though we may have some differences here and there, maybe the technique or the how it works out, whether 2-2-1 or 1-2-2 or a diamond, whatever it may be, the philosophies are the same in terms of how we want to create extra possessions, whether that be the press or offensive rebounds. Me and Mike are just really on the same page, and I think from a coaching staff in year one, when you can be on the exact same page and get rolling, I think that led to a lot of our success. Was me and Mike knowing one another, knowing each other's philosophies, and kind of agreeing with each other's philosophies of how you create extra possessions, how you get teams to feel uncomfortable, whether it's in the half quarter, full quarter, in transition.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take an Everguard roofing and solar break and come back and top 10 plays of the week and come back and talk more about northern New Mexico.
Sounds good, Steve.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Everguard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Everguard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
Outside edge, strike three, Blomker. Outside edge, strike three, Blomker. Got Feist for the second time today. Trevin Polanco makes him wave at it. Got him, strikes out the side. Both sides called it a single, okay. And Del Angel punishes them. The big bat flip from Anthony Del Angel as the Storm have cracked this game open. It's a 3-run shot, 1 pitch, 1 result. Anthony Del Angel makes it 4-0 Cleveland Storm.
As Salazar delivers in a high drive deep into left field, carrying back. Taco, home run for Dean Ellison, and it is 9-1 Rio Rancho.
That one sent down the middle, Burdett. That one gone. Everett Burdett slamming that one. He'll walk his way home.
And he will blast that to left field. It's heading, kiss it goodbye. Joaquin Aragon opens up this game with a ripper.
Setting up outside, pitch delivered, and it's a line drive. Heading it to the left center gap, that'll be trouble. Ellison grounding first, going towards second. 1-run scores. Here comes another. 3rd run round the plate, and no throw at home. And it's a 3 RBI double for Dean Ellison.
This will be knocked up to second and gloved out of the sky. Anthony Hernandez has it.
Blomker, another bouncer. Can they get to? They do. Chases it to first. He is not safe. Goddard gets out. Anthony Del Angel, the OU commit, to lead off. And right away, he gets a hold of it. Is it gone? It's gone! Anthony Del Angel, first pitch of the game, smacks it out here in the city of Vision.
Out to right field, and Cleveland are back in the lead. 2 runs will score. It's an RBI single. Ben Herman puts across two.
Hey, welcome back. Steve Davis Show. Got Steve Miera here, assistant coach in Northern New Mexico. And you got a late start last year, and I came up to a couple of practices before the year, and I know everybody said, but what y'all did this year was amazing. I mean, you were very small, but your players, they really got better, and that's a contribute to you and Mike. But speak on that. I mean, it was really second in the conference, first year in the conference, and really only having like 4 home games, if that.
That was a difficult schedule, absolutely, Steve. But I think part of why we were so successful, even though we were small, was that we had players buy into the role that they needed to play. So we had again a kid, JJ. He's a guard, probably a point guard. He was guarding the fives to start games when we had to go small, and he accepted that role all year long. He had bumps and bruises from guarding, the 6'9" to 7-footers in our league, and he's sitting at 6'1", But we had multiple players, not just JJ, buy into the role of, hey, we need to make an adjustment defensively because we're so small. We lost our starting center 3 or 4 games in with a blown Achilles, and really adjusted the way Coach Mike and I decided to look at pick and roll defense and look at full court defense and how we can monopolize, the talent that we did have on the court. And like I said, in such a short period of time, the players really accepted their roles, jumped into that process, understood that we only had 4 home games, that we're going to be on the road a lot. And nobody complained. Nobody put their head down. Nobody said, Coach, this isn't me. They adjusted their box. They started to work within their box. Again, and I think, Coach Mike did a great job of explaining what we wanted as our expectations, despite being small, despite being late in the year, despite all the roadblocks that go in your way. First year conference where you're playing neutral games out in Arizona 4 or 5 times. All those little things you would think would kind of deteriorate a team a little bit. I think it made us stronger. So going into this year, the excitement level's even higher because now we got guys an opportunity to get more home games, to rest a little bit more from being on the road. And it's always great to have family and friends show up to watch you play. And having more home games this year is really going to accomplish that. But again, I think the resilience we built last year from only having 4 home games, from having such a late start, is only going to make us better this upcoming year in the CalPAC. And we get to travel this year in the CalPAC. I think that's one of the great things Coach Mike and the president have done, has got us into a conference where, my first stint here, we were independent. And I'll be honest with you, Steve, that's not the easiest schedule, even just to set up, much less execute. So having a conference, being able to get a bid coming right out of the conference tournament, all positive things for us moving forward here at Northern.
Well, no, very, very impressive. And like I said, when I watched, when I came up, I was like, man, this is could be a long season. And boy, y'all proved me wrong. And I'm one to always contribute to somebody that did a great job. And and what has happened is y'all have built excitement for Northern New Mexico, and a lot of that happens with the enthusiasm from the administration. Speak on that a little bit.
Absolutely. So President Balderas has been phenomenal here in the past. We'll call it 24 months to 36 months when he first got started. We have a brand new gym. We have a brand new gym floor. The entrance ways have just completely been redone. We have a brand new weight room. We have a brand new cardio room. They're making adjustments on campus for families and students coming in at the top of the administration level. The dorms in El Rito, which our players are currently using now, something that wasn't active since the 1970s. So you're talking about not only the president revamping the school and El Rito, but I think part of that is getting the community excited about that. And because the community is excited about the changes going on at Northern, and as we all know, athletics is the front porch of any university. We're excited to kind of take on that responsibility of being the front porch for this university, because the administration has done such a great job of getting money, not just for athletics, which is phenomenal for us, but for the entire university. And so when you have admin buying in from every level, all the way down to athletics, it's on us as coaches to fulfill that request that's going on from administration. And like I said, they've pumped in millions of dollars, Steve. If you're a parent or you're a student athlete or you're just a fan of basketball and you haven't been up to Northern New Mexico yet and seen the changes to the gym and the weight room and the process that's going on over here, I invite everybody to come, Steve, because I think you've seen it, and it's impressive. They've done a phenomenal job.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take another break, and we're going to come back and talk more about Northern New Mexico basketball.
Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hey, welcome back to the Steve Davis Show. We got Steve Miera, assistant head coach in Northern New Mexico, and it's been a pleasure, talking with you. It's always fun when I see you and get to see you. But not only success, just in the men's program, y'all had success in the women's program, and I forgot you were assistant coach for the girls a couple of years ago.
So about 3 years ago, my first stint here at Northern, about 3 years ago, my first stint at Northern, I was an assistant for the men's and the women's program. So I coached like 48 games that year. I was on the road for like 30 something. But so some of those girls that were there as freshmen are now juniors, seniors in this team that you were just talking about, Steve. They had a phenomenal year too. They finished second in conference. They made it all the way to the championship game out in California. Coach Mandy's done a phenomenal job with her and her staff of getting these young women to buy in. And that's always different when you have a new regime coming in, a new coaching staff, and you've got old players mixing in with the new. It's difficult. Does men's, women's, high school, 8th grade, 4th graders. It's difficult. New kids, new coach, new system, all of that. And so for Coach Mandy and her staff to have a successful season like that, again, speaks to our athletic department as a whole and what we're doing moving forward. But also, let's give credit where credit's due. Coach Mandy and her staff did a great job of getting all these young women together. old and new, and making that process work. And yeah, shout out to the women's team as well. They did a phenomenal job this year. Really excited to
Well,
see them come back.
speak on some of those players that you had. So,
So, for example, we had a local girl, Ree Padilla. She was a freshman when I was there, and I spoke to her yesterday. She's going to be finishing up her nursing degree here in May, but she's got one more year of eligibility left, so she's going to take a couple more classes, and she's coming back because she loves the game, loves to represent the town that she's from, loves to wear the Northern Eagle, and I think again that's a testament to Coach Mandy and her staff to be able to have retention and bring some of those student athletes back. So Ree's a very good example of somebody who's from here, from local, started off freshman year getting 4 or 5 minutes a game to playing quality minutes and leaving here with a nursing degree where she's going to go on and impact people's lives outside of basketball for the next 40, 50 years. And at the end of the day, men's and women's basketball, when we can lead our student athletes out of this school with job opportunities and the right contacts to have them change people's lives moving forward, that's what it's really about. I mean, there's a very small percentage, 0.1%, that goes on to play pro. The rest of everybody else goes on to be professionals in what they do later on in life. And I think this athletic department is doing a phenomenal job of preparing our student athletes for the real world and for the jobs that are going to be coming up. And they're going to be tough. Our kids will be tough. The men's and women's programs will be tough kids, tough-minded kids. If you're looking to hire somebody, Steve or anybody else, come grab a Northern New Mexico student athlete. They're going to have the right attitude. They're going to be disciplined, and they're going to be great human beings. And again, that's what we want to focus on here at Northern is we're going to pump out some quality athletic programs, some championship-winning basketball teams. But when that's all said and done, the student athletes that are there are going to be phenomenal human beings for the state of New Mexico.
well, back to Mandy, she is really. I think just like yesterday, I was up there and she was there, and some of the players were there watching, and I mean that's you can't buy that. I mean that's just something that's natural, and she, her assistants were there, and everybody was there taking, introducing themselves to the parents and everything else. That really builds a program and also builds a community.
Absolutely, Steve. I agree 110%.
Well, things are coming up. Well, I mean, last year's over, and you got nine of the 10 players coming back, and so big expectations.
Yes, sir. I think anything less than a conference championship, going to nationals, cutting down nets. I know everybody wants to say that at the beginning of the year and prop up their team, but when you have a foundation like that coming back, it's hard not to have those type of expectations. And I think the players have those expectations on themselves. I think I was speaking to you a little bit earlier this morning. We do weights and individual workouts and up and down play 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And we finished with our morning group. And like I said, I couldn't be more excited with the energy and attitude that they bring to weightlifting early in the morning. Those are those type of championship winning qualities that again you can't buy. The players have to bring that in. You can be the world's greatest coach, and I think I work for one of the better ones out there, and Coach Mike Dominguez right now. Me and him can do all that we can, but if the players aren't truly in love with the game, it doesn't really pan out. But we've got guys that just absolutely love the game. They love the grind. They love the shooting sessions. They love the weightlifting. Coach, let's get a little bit more film in. So if there's any parents or young student athletes out there that are watching us right now, Steve, that would be my biggest advice is love the game in every aspect of it, because it's not just Saturdays at 5 p.m. with your family there cheering you on. There's a lot of work that goes in between those games, and if you love that and you have that competitive spirit, you're going to be successful, not just in basketball but in life, Steve. We truly believe that.
Well, I tell you what, our time came to an end, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to be on the Steve Davis Show. And I hope to see you over the summer, and good luck to next year.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Steve. We want to give a shout out to ProView because you guys do all of our games. Last year was your first year doing that, and you'll be coming back this year for much more home games. So we really appreciate you, everything you guys do for us, Steve, at ProView, and I think our student athletes really appreciate that because it gives their families opportunities to watch them play. And like I said, we're recruiting New Mexico kids, and they're going to be successful, and they're going to be on TV, and they're going to be interviewed by Steve at ProView after the games, and I think that means a lot for them and for us at Northern as well, Steve. So thank you guys for being part of our process of becoming more professional and being a top-notch college program here in New Mexico. So thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for the pub, man. We're gonna cut that out and put it on YouTube.
Sounds good, Steve.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks.
you.
Yeah.